Good morning, children. Today I will take the topic of active transport followed by passive transport and then the forces contributing to ascent of sap. First I'll explain you active transport. It is one of the phenomenon or the process by which the root hair cells absorb mineral nutrients. Till now you have studied that the root hair cells absorb water by osmosis. And osmosis is a process of allowing only the water molecules to pass from its higher concentration to its lower concentration through the cell membrane. No solute, no mineral nutrients or salts are allowed to pass by this process. But the root cells also absorb mineral nutrients along with water. Then how these nutrients they enter into the root cell? That is by active transport. As we all know, the root hair cell, inside the cell sap of root hair cell, it is concentrated. More of solute is there compared to the surrounding soil water. That is, solute concentration is less outside. So the nutrients have to move from their lower concentration to the higher concentration. And this will not take a simple flow, is not possible. The substance very easily flow from higher to lower concentration, but it is not possible for a substance to flow from its lower concentration to its higher concentration. For that, the root hair cells have to use the energy of the cell. Energy of the cell, ATP, which is stored in every cell. They use that energy and forcefully with that energy, they take in the mineral nutrients inside their cell from outside. This process is called active transport. Now, you just listen, I'll read it from the book. Active transport is a passage of salt or iron from its lower concentration to higher concentration. This is opposite of diffusion. By utilizing the energy from the cell through a living cell membrane. Ions of potassium, sulfates, nitrates, etc. cannot pass through the cell membrane of the root cells easily since their concentration is higher inside than the root cells. Now they say that these ions they cannot pass through the cell membrane of root cells easily because their concentration is higher inside than the root cells. Why it is maintained so? Why the concentration should be high inside the root hair cell? It is maintained in order to develop osmotic pressure, to absorb water by osmosis. In order to obtain these ions, they have to be forcibly carried inside the cell from their lower concentration towards their higher concentration, which will require energy. The molecules, the energy will be supplied by the cell, breaking ATP, which is the stored energy, adenosine triphosphate molecules, to release ADP and the energy by the cell. Hence, forcefully these ions can be taken inside the cell by breaking the concentration gradient. This is called active transport. So, the minerals in the form of ions and salts are being absorbed by the root hair cells by a process called active transport, and this is a process of absorbing these nutrients by utilizing energy stored in the root hair cell in the form of ATP. Then we'll come to passive transport. Passive transport, it refers to the movement of molecules requiring no energy from the cell. There is free movement of molecules from their higher concentration to the lower concentration, as in case of diffusion. The molecules of substance, they flow in simply from their higher to their lower concentration. Because they are moving from their higher concentration to lower concentration, so no effort is required, no energy is required to pull them. Similar is in case with osmosis. It is the water molecules which is moving from its higher concentration to its lower concentration through cell membrane. So simply it automatically will flow from its higher concentration to its lower concentration. Water from its higher concentration to water from its lower concentration. So no extra energy is required no energy at all is required for this process. These processes which requires no input of energy to draw in substances, molecules of substances without utilizing energy is called passive transport. Diffusion, osmosis, imbibition, these are the examples of passive transport. Now, forces responsible for ascent of sap. What is ascent of sap? That means the upliftment of water with dissolved minerals in it. The upward movement of water along with the dissolved minerals, sap from roots to the tip of stem, branches and their leaves is called ascent of sap. The path of ascent of sap. The water along with the dissolved substances, see in the diagram. This is the surrounding soil water with the dissolved minerals in it is absorbed by the root hair cells from the soil. Water will enter by osmosis, mineral nutrients will be taken by the root hair cell by active transport. Now this mixture of water with minerals is called cell sap. The sap absorbed by the root hair passes to the next region of the root called the cortex region and will go to cell by osmosis in the cortical cells. From here it will enter into the third region which is made up of tightly packed cells, and this part is called pericycle. The water from here will now enter into the xylem tissue. The sap, this cell sap that reaches into the xylem of roots is lifted upward. It goes up to the leaves as an unbroken column of water due to continuity of xylem elements throughout the plant. From the xylem vessels of the root, internally these vessels are connected to the xylem vessels of stem. Then the xylem vessels are connected to the xylem vessels of leaf. Thus the whole column of xylem vessel is being formed and which is an unbroken channel. Then the upward movement of sap is brought about by four main forces. The first is root pressure. I explained you in detail about root pressure. So this will build up sufficient force to push the sap in xylem vessels up to certain height. So this pressure which is developed into the root due to cell osmosis and continuous flow of water will take place. Thus the water is pushed up into the stem up to certain height, and this pressure is enough for small herbaceous plants. But for tall trees, along with this root pressure, other forces are also acting on it. So this pressure will take the water up to a certain height in the stem of a plant. Then the other force is addition of water. This causes water to stick to the surface of cells. such as surface of the elements of xylem vessels. The water will stick to their walls, and thus more of water will be taken in from below when the leaf cells lose water during transpiration. Then the third force is capillarity action. The xylem vessels are narrow in diameter. So the narrow diameter of xylem vessels will cause water from lower level to rise in order to fill the vacuum created by loss of water due to transpiration. So the narrow is the diameter, the greater height the water will take. So the xylem vessels causes the water from a lower level to rise up the vacuum created by loss of water due to transpiration from the leaves. Narrow the diameter of the vessel, greater will be the height of water rising in it, exerting a force called capillary force. Then we'll come to the next force called transpiration pull. As the water is lost from the leaf surface by transpiration, more water molecules are pulled up due to the tendency of water molecules to remain joined together with a force called cohesion force. One molecule is joined to the other molecule, the other to the third and fourth on, and such. The force which joins the these molecules together is called force of cohesion. So they form a chain of water column, and thus to produce a continuous column of water throughout the stem. This is all these forces, that is root pressure, then addition of water, capillary action, that is capillary force, and transpiration pull. All these forces are responsible to cause the ascent of sap from the roots up to the top of the branches and leaves of the plant. Together all these forces are working for the upliftment of cell sap. Now we will come to downward movement of sap. This is relatively a simple process. The food which is manufactured in leaves get dissolved in water and becomes in solution form. So it is also considered as sap. This flows, and leaves we know is manufactured in leaf. So once the food is formed, the food is manufactured in leaf. Once the food is formed, it gets dissolved in water, and this cell sap from the leaf will flow down due to force of gravity. Only one main force is acting on it, that is force of gravity, because of which from the leaves the food dissolved in water will pass on to different parts of the plant body up to the storage organs in roots. Now children, do you know vascular bundles or vascular tissue? You have studied in your previous classes. It is made up of, single bundle is made up of xylem and phloem. This xylem and phloem together is called vascular bundle or vascular tissue. This is present in root, stem, leaf stalk and leaf veins, and all are in the continuous form, an unbroken system of tubes. Collectively, they form the transport system throughout the entire plant. So this vascular tissue is present in root in continuation with the stem, then in continuation with the leaf stalk and leaf veins. And this vascular tissue is responsible for transporting water and food throughout the entire plant. Water along with dissolved inorganic salts move upward from the roots to the leaves through xylem tissue of the vascular bundle, whereas the food, organic substance, they move through the phloem from the leaves to other parts of the plant that is through the phloem of the vascular bundle. So xylem is responsible for carrying water with dissolved minerals in it, and phloem tissue is responsible for carrying the dissolved food through it. Thank you, children. Tomorrow I will take the experiments, few experiments of root absorption.